All right, so I want to weigh in on what's in the news right now. The University of Michigan firing their head coach, Sherrone. And I'm just weighing in as a member of the public, and this is big news this week. So I don't have any dog in this fight. I don't know the head coach or the family involved, no financial interests, no ties to Michigan. I'm just weighing in as a member of the public. And so when I read the University of Michigan policy, clearly in the policy there is not language of zero tolerance. And that may not be the practice in terms of the application of the policy, but in terms of the written language, I don't see a zero tolerance. What I see here is discretionary language. But first of all, the supervisor cannot initiate the relationship. Now, if there is a relationship that happens to develop, like let's say the subordinate initiates the relationship, then there is a requirement, an obligation for the supervisor to report the relationship, and then they have to take measures in terms of coming up with a plan and things of that nature to protect the subordinate. And that clearly wasn't done here. In fact, there's reports that when confronted about the relationship, he lied and repeatedly lied and denied that there was a relationship. So clearly there's a failure to report. And it seems to me that the legal grounds of the termination was to fire him for that reason. Now, what I want to weigh in on is the speculation as to why, if there are other reasons why they fired him. And I believe so. And I don't think this is a situation where Michigan's quote unquote out to get him, or that there was a purely sole economic reason. I mean, clearly when you're dealing with egregious misconduct, that should be the primary consideration. I'm just saying that that's not the only consideration. When you look at that language about being able to dismiss an employee, to me that sounds like discretionary language. Now, if you're a practicing lawyer in Michigan and you have more knowledge than I have on this legal issue, feel free to share that information with not just me but anybody in the public, so we can be more informed about the situation. Again, I'm speaking as a layperson, but my lay reading of that language is discretionary. And when you're talking about discretionary decision in terms of firing, let's just say businesses make business decisions when it comes to someone's tolerance level and their performance. Okay, and in this case, I don't think the University of Michigan felt that the coach was living up to their performance standards. So I think that has to play with it. And now obviously you're talking about a buyout clause worth up to their estimates. I've seen different things, but I've seen up to $14 million estimates. When you compare that with the Michigan budget from 2023, 2024, estimated to be in the $70 million range. I mean, that's a lot of money when you're talking about revenues and expenses. So that's money that they can use to get them another coach or other expenses. So we're not talking about dropping the bucket when you specifically look at the revenue generated by football in Michigan. So my take is this is the opportunity for Michigan to part ways without having to pay out money. And no, this is not me saying that Michigan orchestrated. This is not a conspiracy. This is totally on Mr. Moore. He laid it out on the silver platter. He basically gave them the reason, the cause to fire him based on his just lack of failure to report. And I mean, that's just on the surface of it. I'm sure there's a lot more involved as well. And so that's just my take. It's not just that they fired him because there's like some zero tolerance written policy. No, I think it has not only to do with that, but also this is the opportunity for them to make a business decision and move in a different direction. Get someone who can live up to Michigan standards, because 16-3 is not, or 16-8 is not going to cut it in 2 years. Not being Ohio State, not winning a championship, getting to the championship, not even getting into the playoffs in 2 years. When you're talking about a Citrus Bowl victory, that's your claim to fame as a head coach. And again, I'm talking about as a head coach's resume. I'm not talking about when he was a coordinator or an intern coach. I mean, that doesn't live up to the standards of Michigan. So I think that's what's going on here. It's basically their opportunity to part ways, save themselves money. And it's not moral judgment against Michigan. I think it's a perfectly rational decision if that's what they believe in terms of economics. And so anyway, that's just my take on why he was fired.